And now, here's Mike Muse with the political news.
So let's get right to it and meet the candidates.
That completes the opening statement.
We're going to get right to it.
On Sway in the Morning.
Mike Muse is here, ladies and gentlemen. A lot took place in the political news circuit over the weekend, and we want to just kind of update you on some things, get your feedback on it. Mike Muse was first.
Yo, start with Omarosa. Citizens Omarosa is back again in the news. As you guys know, she was made famous by Donald Trump's Celebrity Apprentice. And now she went into the White House and she was fired last December. She's now out with a book and she is doing her media tour right now. This morning she appeared on the Today Show, but yesterday she appeared on Meet the Press and talking about her time there. And she was really talking about how she felt really complicit to everything that was happening in the White House. And let's hear what she had to say about that.
What I know now, I didn't have the benefit of in 2003 or 2004 or 2010. And so, yes, it is hindsight. But I will say this to you, I was complicit with this White House deceiving this nation. They continue to deceive this nation by how mentally declined he is, how difficult it is for him to process complex information, how he is not engaged in some of the most important decisions that impacts our country. I was complicit, and for that, I regret.
And also with that, we've been hearing a lot about the tapes. You know, the big part of her book deal that she was able to secure it was she was able to play tapes for publishers. And the reason why that she felt that she needed to say this is because she felt that people were not telling the truth in the White House. And here's what she had to say about folks spreading false information.
I protected myself because this is a White House where everybody lies. The president lies to the American people. Sarah Huckabee stands in front of the country and lies every single day. You have to have your own back because otherwise you'll look back and you'll see 17 knives in your back.
And at the heart of it all, citizens, is this audio that she released on Meet the Press on Sunday in the moment that she was being fired by Chief of Staff General John Kelly inside the Situation Room.
Can I ask you a couple of questions? Is the president aware of what's going on?
Let's not go down the road. This is a non-negotiable discussion.
I don't want to negotiate. I've never had a chance to talk to you, General Kelly.
Yeah,
so if this is my departure, I'd like to have at least an opportunity to understand.
We can talk another time. This has to do with some pretty serious integrity violations. So I'll let it go with that. So the staff and everyone on the staff works for me, not the president.
President Trump was not pleased with what he was hearing over the weekend. He's not happy about this book that is coming out. He feels like if anyone can do damage to what is happening inside the White House, it is her, because she was so close to him prior to him becoming the president, and she was his senior advisor inside the White House. And here's his thoughts on Omarosa.
Low life. She's a low life.
Yeah. What did he say? I beg your pardon. Can you run that back?
Low life. She's a low life.
So he he said low life. Did he say low
life?
Low life. I thought he said low road. He didn't say low road?
No.
Oh, okay.
Low life. She's a low life.
Okay.
But we got breaking news this morning, Sway, that Omarosa released another tape. And here's what he said on the phone call to Omarosa right after she was fired by General John Kelly, the Chief of Staff.
Omarosa, what's going on? I just saw on the news that you're thinking about leaving. What happened?
General Kelly came to me and said that you guys wanted me to leave.
No, nobody even told me about it. Nobody.
Wow.
You know, they run a big operation, but I didn't know it. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
God damn it.
So one could be the whole goddamn it, right?
Yeah. You know, like when you used to get in trouble as a kid, or you didn't want to get in trouble as a kid, and somebody stole something out your mother's purse, and it turned out it was the light bill, and then they approach you with it. So I didn't know that. Damn it. And you the one that did it?
Oh, yeah.
Mike Muse, can you clarify who exactly did she work for?
So Omarosa was in the Office of Public Engagement, and what the Office of Public Engagement is the forward-facing arm of the White House, where they really engage with outside groups, organizations, to really bring them into the White House and create a two-way dialogue with that. She was a senior advisor to the president, and so who she directly reports to is the Chief of Staff and to President Trump.
Okay, so if he heard that she got fired, wasn't that an opportunity to say, well, no, we're not letting you go?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. He's the president.
Yeah. He could have reversed that course right there.
He took that moment to say, "Damn it, they did that to you. They run a big operation over there."
Yeah,
in my administration. That's interesting.
You know what I'm wondering, Mike Muse?
Yo,
how come when you're let go from the White House, you're not automatically hit with a gag order, so to say? You know what I mean? Because I feel like, wasn't it Sean Spicer, the former White House press secretary? He said when he left, he had to sign like a non-disclosure agreement. You know what I mean? So that all of these aren't revealed in a book. Shouldn't that be standard procedure?
That's a really interesting question that you raise. So we're in an unprecedented time with this administration.
Okay.
So normally there is, and every White House has the ability to create their own dynamic and what they want from their employees that are there. Under President Obama's administration, there was a certain time period where if you worked inside the White House that you couldn't go work in industry afterwards. And that was for him to be able to separate those leaving the White House and going to lobbying industry to be able to lobby the White House afterwards. So there is that you can do. What President Trump is doing now, as a result of all the leaks that are coming out, is making his employees sign a non-disclosure agreement that they won't talk.
Right.
What we've come to learn is that she was offered a confidentiality non-disclosure agreement when she left, and in return, they would have her come work for the Trump campaign, and that they would pay her, I believe, $15,000 a month, to which she declined and didn't sign. So she's also alleging, too, as well, that Sean Spicer is actually under that agreement so that he doesn't talk negatively about him, but he's being on a retainer, if you will, to have these roles inside of the campaign.
She's still getting a lot of backlash from people who are saying, now you're coming forward, now you're talking out. You weren't doing that before. You was his biggest campaigner.
Are people not entitled to change their minds?
True.
Though? I mean, we talk about this all the time. Like, you felt one way sometime, and then maybe you matured or got enlightened, so to speak, and it's just lack of a better word, and then she changed her mind. Are we mad that it's coming from her, so we are ignoring the truth? You know what I mean?
Let's find out. I mean, she did say she wasn't privy to what she knows now back in 2003 and 2005 and when she first, in 2010.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Are people inclined to change their minds? Are they entitled? What do you think of this Omarosa situation? Citizens, call us 888-742-3345. You shocked to hear these recordings? What do you think about the administration? Talk to us.
Damn it. Omarosa, what's going on? I just saw on the news that you're thinking about leaving. What happened?
General Kelly came to me and said that you guys wanted me to leave.
No, nobody even told me about it. Nobody.
Wow.
They run a big operation, but I didn't know it. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yo, you gotta play the citizens. How do y'all feel about that? Damn it! Let me hear that. Damn it again. Does that sound sincere? That's from the president. Damn it! Let me get on the phone and call General Kelly right now. We're gonna reverse this whole action.
Right.
Damn it!
Damn it.
Damn it!
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yo, that's crazy, man. What do you think of Sam? Sam's in Atlanta, man. What do you think of this Omarosa story?
What up, Sam?
Sam, I am.
Hey, what's up? What's up, Square in the morning? How's that
Hey.
going, everybody?
Good.
What's
How
going
you
on,
doing,
man?
Not much. I really think Omarosa is in her lane. She's just doing what she can to protect herself and her own interests, and I don't begrudge her for that. What she not learned from hanging out with Trump and his camp from back in the Apprentice and all that stuff is that you need to cover her ass. The recording cover her ass, and then she can have some legitimacy to everything she claims. And I don't agree with her personally, but I'm in business, and the first thing I learned from a white guy that was in business is you always do what you need to cover your own ass, and that's exactly what she's doing.
There it is.
And citizens around the world, black people especially, y'all need to take a lesson from this lady. I mean, get all the drama and who she represents, and even that was in his camp for so long and a big cheerleader for him and stuff like that. When, you get thrown to the wolves, you got to do what you can to protect yourself, and that's what she's doing. And if you make a little money along the way getting it, I ain't mad at her. I wish she could show me how to do that a little bit better.
Yeah, and Mike Muse, I wonder what the culture is like behind closed doors, because these are some of the most powerful, important, influential people in the world who have been educated in some of the best institutions that the planet has to offer. And it's a dog-eat-dog mentality up there, right?
It
so
is.
It seemed like it's really cutthroat in this administration.
But that's why these tapes matter. People can have their opinion on Omarosa. They can think she's a villain. They can think what she wants. I think we all have our opinions on Omarosa. But what you can't deny is the tapes. And the challenge of this White House is that, and even when reporters are covering them, it's always a source, right? And President Trump has always said, who are these anonymous sources? You guys don't even name the sources. We've heard Sarah Huckabee Sanders as press secretary. She got on the podium a lot, and she always talks about how these unnamed sources. Well, now we actually have audio and tapes, and allegedly Omarosa has tapes, not only just on Trump, not only just on General Kelly, but other employees inside the White House that she's recorded conversations on. So we're going to be able to hear audio from employees and from officials on what this White House is doing on the inside. And for the first time, we're going to be able to verify it, because no reporter will ever do something like this, right? But Omarosa is not a reporter; she's not a journalist, so she has the ability, and by law, because the District of Columbia is only a one-party state where only one person has to agree to release this type of information out. She's in the legal realm to do it. She may get in some water in terms of, did she breach national security by having recorded conversation in the situation room?
Yeah.
But one goes to ask the question, why did you need to fire her inside the situation room? So.
What's the worst that could happen if she is found to have, breached the national security?
That's a felonious offense to a sense. So the House has to open up an investigation, and I believe they are considering that right now. If they're
they're going to get her. They're going to go for her.
So she could get like double-digit jail time, you thinking?
I don't know the exact terminology.
Yeah, they're going to go for her.
Yeah. But it is an offense, though.
I think they may go for her, but God forgive me, I really believe this woman came in with a plan. Like, I think she did all her research first, and I think she intentionally went in to start taping them from the beginning, just so we can have this book later on. I think she definitely went in with a plan.
Hey, Sam, thanks for your call, man. We appreciate it, all right?
Thanks, Sam.
All right, appreciate you.
You're a citizen.
It's Sway in the morning.
The Petty Messiah is on the line. What up, man?
Wow.
Oh.
First time calling, long time listening, man.
How you doing,
First and
family?
foremost, I'm good, family. That damn it is straight lie. You can tell he lying, so you said, damn it.
Hey, man, listen. Language it could be a tool, it could be a weapon, and I've learned to study language and sound, voices, the whole nine. That damn it, play that damn it back.
Damn it.
Now you get. Soon as I heard the damn it, my red flag went up. But play the whole call. Play the.
Omarosa, what's going on? I just saw on the news that you're thinking about leaving. What happened?
General Kelly came to me and said that you guys wanted me to leave.
No, nobody even told me about it. Nobody.
Wow.
They run a big operation, but I didn't know it. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Damn it.
It sounds like oddly pornographic.
You the president.
Yeah.
How you didn't know that?
You the president, and that's his people. She's from his camp. He brought her in.
Right.
That's actually an important note, Sway, that you're saying and that Petty Messiah is saying. When you're a senior advisor, you have a certain level of access to the president that other individuals who work in the West Wing and also those who work in the executive office building may not have access to the president. So to be fair, the president may not know all the employees. So the executive office building sits adjacent to the White House on the White House grounds. It's a huge building, multiple floors. He may not know everybody in there. But there's a small group of individuals who work inside the West Wing. The White House is actually small, citizens, and that West Wing is actually a small section of the White House. When you're a senior advisor, he knows exactly who you are, and you do have a certain amount of access to it. So that should have been a conversation that should have been had with the president and with the chief of staff on what they're going to do with his senior advisor.
But to say he didn't know, how realistic is that? I brought you in here at Sirius XM, the Sway in the Morning show.
Yep.
If somebody wanted to get you out of the building, let's say somebody in the higher ups, I won't say their name, they're not going to do that without consulting me first.
Exactly.
So she's definitely came in from his camp.
He knew.
Yeah.
There's no way he did not know that. And that example that you just laid out is perfectly. You would have to know if something like that was to happen.
They ain't go just let Mike Muse. I mean, I'll tell him, go ahead, let him go. But I'm not just.
Let me get my phone out and start recording.
That's what I'm going to say. You might want to do that, man. Mike, they let you go?
Yeah.
Oh, man, they run a big operation over there.
That's my favorite part.
That's my favorite part. Real quick, man, I want to talk about a couple some other things that we didn't really get a chance to touch on earlier this morning.
Yes, citizens, and Sway, I feel like...
thank you to Petty Messiah. You're a citizen.
Sway in the morning.
All right, go ahead.
I feel like what I do on Monday mornings now, Sway and Heather B, is just really just go through President Trump's timeline on his Twitter just to figure out what should we talk about on Monday mornings, because it really is coming from him on the weekends. There was 2 tweets that really stood out to me over the weekend that I wanted to bring some attention to, citizens. And I think by now, citizens, I'm all about getting us to really understand global diplomacy and how we are all interconnected into this space of diplomacy that we're in, and how what happens in Europe has an impact on what happens to the United States and vice versa. President Trump sent out a tweet, said on Friday, it says, quote, "I have just authorized a doubling of tariffs on steel and aluminum with respect to Turkey as their currency. The Turkish lira, which is their currency, their dollar, slides rapidly downward against our very strong dollar. Aluminum will now be 20% and steel 50%. Our relations with Turkey are not good at this time." End quote. Citizens, what that means was immediately that sent the markets into a tailspin, and immediately that dragged the Turkey lira, their currency, down even further, which has created an incredible instability of the Turkish currency, which now the President Erdogan, is now essentially in a tailspin trying to figure out how to save and salvage his own currency in his own country. That also has an impact on the European markets too as well. So European global markets are being directly impacted as a result of Turkey's currency being decreased and devalued, as well as China has an impact on this too as well. They're seeing some instability within their markets as a result of Turkey. Turkey borrows all their money from foreign currency, so from the European dollar, from the Chinese dollar, in order to finance all their debt and their infrastructure that is happening. So when their currency gets devalued, that lessens the ability for the other markets to recoup their money that is being doled out. What does that mean for us? That means no matter who is in the office, citizens, whether it's a Republican or whether it's a Democrat, that we always talk about the power of the presidency. We always talk about words matter. We always talk about tweets matter. Now you're seeing how a simple, 160 characters can create a downward spiral of a country's currency and can rattle and shape markets, all because President Trump is now going to issue these 2 tariffs on aluminum and steel. Something to think about geopolitically when we think about Turkey. Turkey is one of our biggest staging operations that we have when we do deployments in the Middle East trying to fight ISIS, if you will. If Turkey begins to retreat from us, they're going to fall into the hands of Russia, and that plays a difficult balance for us over in Syria, and there are dynamics and relations we have with Syria, and then that then cause them to soften their stance on Iran. So it has huge political implications. So really begin to follow that story a little bit. Feel free to tweet me, ask me questions. The second and final...
Wait, before you do that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but let's flip that over. What's the flip side of that? What is the benefits for us as a country that you can see by the president putting these tariffs on aluminum and on Turkey?
Yeah, we've been talking about this for a while, Sway, in a sense of, so some individuals in some markets believe that there are other countries who are lessening the value of their aluminum and their steel, which is pricing American goods and companies out of market, and they're unable to compete at these prices. And so in some aspect, they do want the tariffs to happen. But for every cause, there's an effect. It's just the laws of physics. So as a result of that, we can raise the price of tariffs up, but that doesn't mean that these manufacturing and consumer good companies will then automatically begin to use American-made steel and aluminum because it's not in abundance, if you will. So as a result of that, the prices go up. And where do you see the prices going up? You see the prices going up on homes that are being built, on construction, on new real estate development projects. You see even the cost going up of beer. So beer cans, because it's made of aluminum, so your price of beer will go up. We've seen statements from Campbell's Soup. There's aluminum in the Campbell's Soup cans. The aluminum is going to go up. The price of aluminum has gone up, so therefore the price of the cans of soup is going to go up. Which great and gives me to a dove and to write the second tweet that he talked about, where President Trump began to talk about Harley Davidson. He released a tweet that said, "Many at Harley Davidson owners plan to boycott the company if manufacturing moves overseas. Great. Most other companies are coming in our direction, including Harley competitors. A really bad U.S. will soon have a level playing field or better." So what's interesting about that tweet, Sway, is that he's actually supporting a boycott of American company. We've never seen a sitting American president boycott an American company. And when you think about it, Harley Davidson is one of those iconic brands of America. And the reason why Harley Davidson is moving their plants from Wisconsin is because of the aluminum and steel tariffs that President Trump has placed on it. So in order for them to be competitive and to make their motorcycles cheaper and at cost, they now have to build these motorcycles in Europe in order for it to be cost effective affected for them. And who does that affect? That affects the workers. The workers begin to lose their jobs. Who is affected? The workers lose their jobs. The local diners, the dry cleaners, the local pharmacy,
grocery store. Everybody's affected.
Everybody's affected. So we see that happening. We also see that happening too, Sway, in South Carolina right now with the tariffs that are happening in terms of that being issued. We see BMW is threatening to possibly leave. We see one town that might go in real trouble. There's one television manufacturing company that is there that may lay off all their employees. So if you take a small town in South Carolina, lay off all their employees, there goes the neighborhood. And so, yes, in one regard, tariffs are good in order to make American costs and companies competitive.
Yeah.
But again, it's a cause and effect. So you have to be mindful of how you issue tariffs and do you do a gradual decline. But we seem to be in a trade war with, listen to this really quickly, Sway. We're now in a trade war with Canada, with Mexico, with the European Union. Now it seems like we're in a trade war with Turkey right now. And in the biggest is China. We have all those trade wars on economic fronts happening at the same time. That creates a lot of instability within our marketplace. That's why citizens always keep talking about the global markets, global diplomacy, so you can begin to really see that America isn't an isolationist country because our markets are tied to other countries.
Mike Muse, ladies and gentlemen. Broke that down. My gosh.
Yeah, man.
And it's funny, man, because I could call Mike on a Friday and say, hey, man, I'll start talking politics to him, and he has no idea, no clue. And then he'll be in Hamptons, eating cheese. And he says, "So I haven't dealt with that yet." And then he'll go deal with it. Let me give me 10 minutes, and he'll come back, and this is what he says to me. Heather,
man. It's insane, man.
Impressive.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
I'm mentally declining and failing to comprehend complex issues.
It's more. The president is literally tweeting now about Omarosa. It's juicy.
What'd he say?
What'd he say?
Well, the last text said. Okay, I'll read it really quickly. Wacky Omarosa, who got fired 3 times on The Apprentice, now got fired for the last time. She never made it, never will. She begged me for a job, tears in her eyes. I said, okay. People in the White House hated her. She was vicious, but not smart. I would rarely see her, but heard really bad things. Nasty to people and would constantly miss meetings and work. When General Kelly came on board, he told me that she was a loser and nothing but problems. I told him to try to work it out if possible because she only said great things about me until she got fired. While I know it's not presidential to take on a lowlife like Omarosa, and while I'd rather be doing so, this is modern day form of communication, and I know that fake news media will be working overtime to make even wacky Omarosa look legitimate as possible. Sorry.
Wow.
He said sorry?
Sorry that the fake news will be working overtime to make wacky Omarosa look legitimate.
Sorry was in his vocabulary.
Low life. She's a low life.
Well, sorry that.
I get it, but still.
Yeah.
Joe, what up, man? Joe's in Pennsylvania.
Joe, what do you know,
What
Joe?
up, Joe?
Hey, what's going on? How's everybody doing this morning?
Hey.
Good. How are you, sir?
Doing great. What are your thoughts, man?
You know what? It's a circus going on, well, just looking at what's been happening since, this administration came online. So with different officials, different positions, you have your elected positions and your appointees. So the ones that are appointed, they can be let go a lot easier than your elected officials without different acts of Congress and things like that. So I think that's what we're seeing take place with some of the appointed positions from people that were, close to Trump during the campaign, now that he's actually, the sitting president.
Okay.
That's what I think. What I think happened with Omarosa.
Okay. So it was bound to happen, basically, is what you're saying, Joe.
Yeah, I think so. And another thing too, with everything that's going on, I think people that were on the personal level with him, that he may not exactly trust and everything that's going on, they're either stepping down or getting fired, right?
Yeah.
And then you guys spoke about the non-disclosures and things like that. I just think that he's trying to get people out of there that can actually say some things that will bring light to the current situation that's going on. So I think it's a strategic move as well. Not saying she was, involved in anything, but you don't know what she knows with being that close to the man for so long. So I just think it's just a strategic move for him. And you've seen it,
So you think she could have became a liability to him? So it just made sense for them to let her go, and right?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay, Joe, man, you're a citizen, man. Citizen, Joe.
It's 20 in the morning.
Thanks, Joe.
Interesting
man.
stuff here, man. Tracy, I'm sorry, but political news did a lot.
I know, it's taking it, man.
It's killing celebrity news right now. I don't know
So
what happened, man.
salacious,
Slaughterfest.
Yeah.
We
You know what's interesting, though, Sway and Tracy G, is that we now have two individuals in the Trump universe who have secretly recorded him. So we have Omarosa, and then we have his attorney, Michael Cohen.
Yeah.
So it just begins to ask the question, either A, who else is taping him, but then B, why do they feel the need they had to have taped him?
Right.
Yeah, and what about Giuliani's quest to get Mueller to just end this probe and say, come with it, or otherwise we need to shut it down? What's the latest on that?
So that's a really great question, Sway. Citizens, there's a lot of action coming up right now. It feels as if Mueller is winding down the investigation. We do not know that right now. It seems like Mueller is interested in having a conversation with President Trump. President Trump has expressed interest, Sway, that he actually wants to sit down with Robert Mueller and talk and say his piece, if you will. His attorneys, in particular Rudy Giuliani, doesn't want that to happen. And so right now they're negotiating really heavily on whether or not how Trump would actually conduct the interview. Would it be through written form, whereas they will address his questions in writing? We all know that will be all answered by his attorneys, if you will. It doesn't seem like Mueller is going for that. It's like Mueller wants an in-person interview. So now they're negotiating. If it is an in-person interview, Rudy Giuliani doesn't want any questions to be surrounded by an obstruction of justice, which is one of the reasons Mueller is actually even doing the investigation to begin with. Rudy Giuliani believes that it's settled law, a settled case, that there is no obstruction of justice and there's no reason to do it. He also believes that Mueller already knows the answer to it, and he wants Trump to come in and be walked into a scenario where he gets
perjure
himself, right?
Yep.
But that begs the question then, why is Giuliani concerned about that? If there was no anything illegally done when it comes to that. So it seems like that is the missing piece right now is President Trump. Giuliani is saying by September the 1st, he said he's been in conversation with Mueller. It's difficult to believe that, though, because Mueller has been so tight-lipped. We don't know anything about this
Mueller's
investigation.
gangster, that dude.
He's gangster, and so it's difficult to believe that Mueller actually told Giuliani that this case will be wrapped up by September the 1st. But what I will put into context and what Giuliani is alluding to, is getting close to, is that even with the Paul Manafort case that's happening right now in Virginia, they are approaching this window and the deadline of the midterm elections. And so usually you don't want to send out any indictments or do anything that could cause any interference in the national elections by issuing any indictments, subpoenas, issuing any reports. And so we're getting close up to that deadline. So we'll see what happens going forward.
Mike Muse, man. Get him a round of applause, man. He had a lot on his chest this morning.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah, there's a lot happening, man.
We got to get to some dumb stuff again, man. Man.
That wasn't dumb.
Well, that's the yin. The yang is, it is Monday, and on Monday we usually do cheat day.
Right.
So this is your chance to get it off your chest. It's like a real life confessional. You can say your first name. You don't have to say your full name. But if you cheated this weekend, get it off your chest. Let it go. Let it fly away. 888-742-3345. Cheat day up next. J-Rock.